Hey guys, this is Jonathan Hernandez of the Lakers Legacy Podcast, and today I want to talk to you guys about one of my favorite remaining free agents on the NBA market as far as the Lakers are concerned. Now, before we get started, I just want to remind everyone to please hit the like button, please share this video, ring the bell, and most importantly, please subscribe. Now, I know free agency and this NBA offseason has been a very sore topic for Lakers fans because what free agency? The Lakers don't even have any roster spots. What are you even talking about? All very fair points. But I do want to remind everybody that NBA teams in the offseason can sign up to 20 players all the way up until training camp. Those NBA teams just have to cut their roster down to the standard 15-man roster with 3 two-way spots by the time the regular season starts. So technically, the Lakers do not have to move off of anyone in order to sign a new veteran minimum player. They can sign a veteran minimum player right now. But anyways, even with all that said, let's say the Lakers salary dump a guy like Cam Reddish or make a consolidation trade to free up a couple of roster spots as well as some money, which is important because again, the Lakers are only $45,000 below the first apron. Let's say they do all that and now have an open roster spot. Who do they sign? Who's left on the market that's worth giving a damn? Well, I think I have a guy. So let me build you a dam. So I know there are still some very talented, fun, and athletic guys out on the market like a Markelle Fultz, a Dennis Smith Jr., even former Laker Lonnie Walker. But for me, the guy that I would like to advocate for is 6'4", 28-year-old guard Landry Shamet. Now, I know, the Lakers need a big. Why are you talking about another guard? Trust me, I get all of that. But when it comes to the Lakers trying to upgrade their backup big man position, I don't think they're going to find that upgrade on the free agency market. There's no one left. Bruno Fernando just signed with the Toronto Raptors. So if the Lakers want to upgrade their backup big man position, they're likely going to do so via trade. So when it comes to free agency, if the Lakers are able to free up a roster spot, I think at that point they just have to look at who has the perfect blend of best talent available, but also best fit. And in my eyes, that guy is Landry Shamet. So why Landry Shamet? Let's get into some context first. Landry Shamet is actually a name that the Lakers have been connected to and are familiar with in more ways than one. Number one, during the 2018 NBA draft cycle, the Lakers actually worked out Landry Shamet and were looking to potentially pick him with their 25th pick during that year. Here's a picture of him with Magic Johnson at the Lakers training facility. As it turns out, the Lakers actually had the chance to select Landry Shamet with their 25th pick, but chose instead to go with Michigan's Mo Wagner, the infamous Magic Johnson pick. And ironically, Landry Shamet would end up going just a pick later to the Philadelphia 76ers, where he would end up having a very productive rookie season, which was split between the Sixers and the Clippers because Landry Shamet was part of the Tobias Harris trade. Now, another pertinent connection between Landry Shamet and the Lakers is the fact that Landry Shamet, during his rookie season with the Philadelphia 76ers, was actually teammates with new head coach J.J. Redick. During that season, J.J. Redick actually maintained a sort of mentorship role over Landry Shamet, and at the time, many believed that the Sixers were grooming Landry Shamet to be the next J.J. Redick. It seems like the two have also maintained their relationship with one another, as Shamet was also on J.J. Redick's former podcast, Old Man and the Three. Lastly, and more prevalent to our discussion at hand, is the fact that earlier this offseason, the Lakers were actually rumored to have been very interested in Landry Shamet's services. Prior to the Wizards releasing Landry Shamet off of his $11 million team option, Hoops Hype's Michael A. Scotto actually reported that the Lakers had exploratory interest in potentially trading for Landry Shamet. But now that Landry Shamet is actually an unrestricted free agent who can likely be had for the veteran minimum, one might assume that the Lakers may even have even stronger interest in Shamet's services. So in summary, there's actually a lot of pretty decent Landry Shamet Lakers connection breadcrumbs and dots to connect there. But why don't we now talk about the on-court basketball side of things and why I think a 6'4" guard in Landry Shamet could be one of the best remaining free agents as far as the Lakers are concerned. So let's start off with the obvious. I think Landry Shamet is a perfect offensive fit with the Lakers this upcoming season. Landry Shamet is a very strong off-ball three-point movement shooter who fits seamlessly with what J.J. Redick wants to implement with the Lakers next season. where spacing, high three-point shooting volume, off-ball movement, multiple down screens, multiple flare-outs are all going to be integral to what I think JJ Redick wants to implement. And so in order to do that, it doesn't hurt to have more legitimate three-point shooters on your team. Now, Landry Shamet had a down year with the Washington Wizards last season, only shooting 34% from three, hitting 1.2 three-pointers made a game, by far his lowest in both categories in his career. But I think you can chalk that up to the Washington Wizards of it all and him being a looter in a riot in a very unstructured system with no flow and players kind of doing whatever they wanted to do. Even with that down year, Landry Shamet is still a career 38% three-point shooter, hitting almost 2 three-pointers made a game. But what makes Landry Shamet such a good fit with the Lakers and a more legitimate career 38% three-point shooter is the fact that he is an elite off-ball player who can also shoot three-point shots off movement. Last season with the Wizards, 45% of Landry Shamet's shots came in the form of catch-and-shoot three-pointers, of which he hit 37% on. Still pretty solid given the fact that last year was a down year for him. Now, during the 2022-23 season with the Suns, next to Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and Chris Paul, Landry Shamet shot 40% from three in catch-and-shoot situations. And then, as I've referenced in the past, during his rookie season with the Philadelphia 76ers and the Los Angeles Clippers, Landry Shamet shot 42% from three in catch-and-shoot situations. 56% of his shot diet were on those catch-and-shoot threes, which is very impressive. And Landry Shamet in particular is such an adept off-ball movement three-point shooter. He can come off screens in a hurry, he can catch balls off DHOs and fire that three-point shot away immediately. His legs could be flailing, his body could be turned one way, and he's still able to get that three-point shot off. And those are the types of shooters that the Lakers and JJ Redick are gonna want on next year's team in order to really make the offense hum. Now, we have had three-point shooters in the past, guys like Malik Beasley, Troy Daniels, and Wayne Ellington, who, once they put that Laker jersey on, all of a sudden they forgot how to shoot. And then, more importantly, they were also just one-dimensional shooters. So if their shot wasn't falling, what else could they really do? Which leads me into actually the main reason why I have gravitated towards Landry Shamet being one of my favorite free agent targets for the Lakers. It's not only because of his three-point shooting. So this came as somewhat of a surprise to me before I actually dug into Landry Shamet's tape, but lo and behold, Landry Shamet is actually not a defensive liability. Now, he's not an Alex Caruso or Lou Dort or Josh Hart type of point-of-attack gritty defender, or a lockdown defender on the perimeter, but he's also not a defensive sieve like a Malik Beasley or a Seth Curry would be. Landry Shamet actually gives effort and he actually tries on defense. He does not give up on plays, he hustles, he goes after loose balls, and that's all you could really ask for from a guy who's a career 38% three-point shooter and who's 6'4" and relatively unathletic. And what really caught my eye about Landry Shamet's defense is the fact that he's a pretty decent on-ball point-of-attack defender. Watch him here as he sticks with Donovan Mitchell and absorbs the contact and goes all the way up with Donovan Mitchell to contest the shot at the rim. Or watch how he sticks with guys like Bogdan Bogdanovic, Dennis Schroeder, or Jaden Ivey. Even if he gets beat on the play, he recovers and meets these guys at the top to contest their shot, get the block, get the steal. He's a guy who will give effort on the defensive end if you put him in a system that supports him. Also, Landry Shamet has surprisingly pretty good hands on the defensive end as well, often getting strips as the help defender and taking the ball the other way down the court. Almost in the same way that JJ Redick was able to extend his NBA career by turning himself from being just a one-dimensional three-point shooter and becoming more of a competent defender who couldn't be played off the court as easily, that's kind of what I've seen from Landry Shamet at a smaller extent. Defense was actually pegged as a main weakness of Landry Shamet's coming out of college, and I think that stuck with him over the years. He's said as much in different interviews, and so for him, defense has been a main point of emphasis and something that he's worked on over the years to try and be better at and just be a competent defender. So yeah, in conclusion, from my Landry Shamet deep dive explorations, I was actually more surprised by his competent defensive capabilities than I was with his elite 3-point off-ball movement shooting, which we kind of already knew he was capable of. Out of any other player on this current Lakers roster, outside of maybe Dalton Knecht, Landry Shamet has the most similar game to JJ Redick's, and you can imagine that JJ Redick would be able to best utilize and best optimize a player like Landry Shamet, who shares a lot of the same capabilities as he did as a player. And Shamet is the perfect type of complementary low-usage player who excels off of the gravity of other on-ball, high-usage players around him, like LeBron James, Austin Reeves, and D'Angelo Russell. This guy should feast from the open three-point looks he's going to get, but also from the hopefully advanced three-point sets that JJ Redick draws up for a movement shooter like Landry Shamet. And from an intangible standpoint, I also think Landry Shamet could be a good veteran mentor for the younger guys like Max Christie and most especially Dalton Knecht. The Lakers obviously have big plans for Dalton Knecht, but you don't necessarily want to off the bat give Dalton Knecht a promised role or too much usage, and having a veteran like Landry Shamet who has played that tertiary off-ball three-point movement shooter role for Dalton Knecht to sort of learn from and learn under, I think that could potentially be a very valuable asset as well. And just objectively speaking, the Lakers have playoff/championship aspirations, and even if Dalton Knecht hits the ground running and plays through the entire 82-game regular season and is hitting 38% from three, who knows what happens when the playoff starts? Maybe Dalton Knecht hits a rookie wall. And so if that happens, it's always good to have a veteran guy as insurance come off the bench in Landry Shamet to sort of help steady the tide a little bit. And while Landry Shamet's 5 points and 35% from three playoff stats are nothing to write home about, he has played in 53 total playoff games, so he just has experience in general. Oh yeah, and he did drop 19 points against the Denver Nuggets in Game 4 for the Suns in 2023 when he helped the Suns tie the series up 2-2. I believe he scored 14 points in the fourth quarter and hit 5 of 8 from three, so he has been able to show up in certain occasions in the playoffs as well. At the end of the day, we're talking about an end-of-the-bench insurance shooter who can help bring the younger guys in Max Christie and Dalton Knecht along and just be competent depth. And so if the Lakers are able to free up a roster spot or convince Landry Shamet to become a break glass in case of emergency type player for the Lakers this upcoming season, I think that would be a very worthwhile and valuable get for the Lakers. That is, if the Lakers ever decide to actually sign a new player. That is still yet to be determined, although I think by August 6th, August 7th, once the dust has settled on the Utah Jazz and Lauri Markkanen extension talks, I think we'll have a clearer idea of whether the Lakers will ever move off some of their end-of-the-bench guys and open up a roster spot or two to sign a new guy. So yeah, that does it for this Landry Shamet propaganda video. You know we are deep into the dog days of summer when guys are making Landry Shamet propaganda videos. But here we are. If you enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed the insight, please remember to like the video, share the video, ring the bell, and most importantly, please subscribe. Thank you for watching, and please stay tuned for more relevant and topical Lakers discussions on this here page. And also catch our podcast, the Lakers Legacy Podcast, anywhere you listen to podcasts. This has been Jonathan Hernandez of the Lakers Legacy Podcast. See you guys later.